So we're here at the security conference with Alex from Runshaw, and it's really nice to see you today.
Yeah, really nice to meet you in person.
So it'd be really good to chat to you about your journey to SOC and what that sort of looked like from your perspective. I appreciate it's a new service, and so if you could just tell me a little bit about how you came to SOC.
Yeah, so it's probably fair to say that we're big Jisc fans. We drink the Kool-Aid. We really appreciate what Jisc does for our sector, and I think there's an instant trust. So when I first saw discussions about the SOC early on and at security conference last year, some of the initial presentations, it was a case of, right, well, what do we need to do? Because we probably know that we should get on board. We talked to a few commercial providers about their offerings, and certainly in further education, there's some incredible offerings out there. They're all beyond our price point, and we're talking the low to mid six figures a year, and that's beyond our price point. And I think there was a similar trepidation when just started talking about it, until some of the early costings came out, and actually putting it across to our senior leadership team. It was one of those strange scenarios of, it was almost the feedback I've got is, well, why haven't we bought it? Why are you only bringing this now?
Yeah.
And then I think that the power of Jisc comes out after that, in that the whole onboarding journey, and we're one of the first non-beta customers, but you can see instantly there's real structure. One of the best things is, it's not just buy this service, it's going to cost you £300,000 a year. Best of luck. We'll send you some alerts if you get any. There's that whole security posture piece about getting it right. And we'd had to make a commercial decision to move away from our AV and our XDR provider, to move to Defender. But actually, because we know there's those initial workshops and there's that Defender hardening piece, we're kind of very comfortable to make that decision.
Yeah.
So I think it's an easy sell.
So what's your decision to move away from your existing EDR solution to Defender? Part of your journey, part of your reasoning?
Yeah, so I think that one of the big pieces is because it fits with Jisc SOC.
Yeah.
And again, because we know Jisc's got that level of expertise to help us get that to a level that may be beyond what we got with the previous provider. Obviously, Jisc does a lot to negotiate with the Microsoft EES agreement.
Yeah.
The price point is spot on. We were already on A5, so most of it was already covered. So again, it was one of those facilitating decisions that was a bit of a no-brainer.
So this wasn't a particularly hard sell in terms of passing that on internally?
Not particularly. Obviously, we're in a sector where, it was still a big decision.
Yeah.
It's still all over the 4-year period. It's still a considerable amount of money. But I think part of the sell was, so I'm here with our cybersecurity and data protection coordinator, and a lot of his time is spent looking out for alerts, chasing down the fine detail.
Yeah.
And maybe not what the chap from the army was talking about this morning, is speaking to the people and boosting that organizational understanding of cyber. So it's a nice way of giving him a friend, a backup, a first line of defense, so that we can refocus. So I think a lot of the decision was about, we probably can't afford to grow our cyber team, but this sort of fits as that interim, that sort of middle layer.
Yeah. And you've had experiences with Jisc before, haven't you, in terms of incident response and
yeah. So
kind of support.
Thankfully nothing major on the incident response side. But the few little incidents, or the few little anomalies that we've seen, Jisc have been incredible. We had the first real actual alert because we used JNRS last week.
Okay.
And it sort of brought it home to me that when I took on the role, we were just using Google DNS because it was fast.
Yeah.
And we got a suicide alert last week. And our monitoring had picked it up 4 minutes previous than the email we got. Well, so it was great because we were already on with it, but it was that reassuring moment that actually all those services, JNRS, the DDoS, it all builds that foundation. So we already trust in a lot of the base components, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think what I was going to ask you in terms of, it was something that you mentioned earlier, which was about those hardening workshops that are part of the journey, that onboarding journey to SOC. Was that something that was a good value part of the?
I think they're incredible value adds, because nothing that we'd looked at previously commercially, and it's not fair to name names or anything, but nothing that we'd looked at commercially, that it was all optional. And it's almost nice that it's not optional, but it's costed as part of it.
Yeah.
I think it's that reassurance that we're not just going to go into it and find that we're getting bombarded with alerts. I love the fact that Jisc aren't going to accept people into the SOC program that aren't at a level where we almost know that the low-hanging fruit's out of it.
Yeah.
I think there's real power in that.
Yeah. And it's part of the process of that optimizing what you've got, building on your year on year.
Yeah.
That's part of that.
I think there's nothing wrong with someone like Jisc coming along and forcing the odd issue into there, because it's better for everyone. We have a monthly ping castle that we run, and there's a few bits on there that we sort of just accept, but it'll be really interesting to get those kind of almost like a second opinion.
Yeah. And I think particularly useful as part of that Active Directory workshop that we have. So that obviously will feed
that's
into
it. So
review that and
so there was a few elements of it. It's like, okay, so we're already doing that in some fashion.
Yeah.
But why not step that up a gear, and obviously if that generates less noise, then that probably in a roundabout way means the service is efficient and somebody isn't adding another note on the end in a few years' time.
Yeah. So were there any, you've said about those workshops being part of the value add SOC service, were there any other benefits of the SOC that you found were helpful in terms of selling that?
Certainly the regular reviews, again, because we know that we're fighting a battle that every now and again, and more so, one of us loses, don't we? And I think that those regular check-ins will be that really good way of reinforcing good posture, understanding what alerts are being generated, what we look like against the sector.
Yeah.
I think there's a nice comparison piece that will come out through that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice holistic, wrapped up service in that way.
Excellent. That's really good to hear. Is there anything that you would suggest for other organisations that may be looking to build a business case, essentially? How did you approach that in putting it together?
We reached out to one of the universities that I know is on the beta, just to see what their experience was. We're a sector, aren't we, where sometimes we're afraid to do something before, a partner organisation or someone else it's a bit of that looking over the wall to see what your neighbour's doing. So it was reassuring that they're a lot further on with the journey, but they're already seeing the benefit. I think that was the key thing for us.
Yeah. Is there anything that Jisc could do more to help people who are looking at the SOC service?
I think obviously as the customer base builds up and the service matures, I think Security Conference would be the perfect place potentially for a few early customers, maybe early adopters, maybe people that have been in there a bit longer to come and share some real stories potentially, and what does it really feel like?
Yeah.
And I think that will help.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. And I think that sort of feeds into that community hub element, doesn't it, as well, of that sort of shared experience?
Yeah, I think so. We shouldn't be too afraid to share warts and all stories. And that's one of the best things about Security Conference, isn't it? That there's some people that are going to make themselves very vulnerable and open up. Loughborough this morning, for example, open up about what happened. And I think it's those stories and that shared understanding of what the product sets are there for and how Jisc can help that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a really nice journey working.
Yeah, we're really excited for it.
Yeah.
And it even just from the first meeting, seeing how seeing how the new service has been resourced, and it's very clear already that that there's a clear foundation for us as customers come on board that will step up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's brilliant. I don't think I've got anything else to ask you. Have you got anything else you want to say?
No, nothing at the moment. I think we should be proud that Jisc exists, and that Jisc as an organisation is there to support both the FE and the HE sector in research. And I think it's just remembering maybe that it's a true trusted partner, and
Yeah.
you can't overlook what Jisc have got to offer. I think that's always my standpoint. If we're looking at a new service, if we're looking at a new security service or anything, it's like, well, hang on a minute, we should be at least talking to Jisc. It might not be something they offer, but they might be able to point us in a direction. And I think we shouldn't forget that.
Yeah. You said it.
Do you?
Great.